Well, hello and welcome to the next Daily Dominion. We have a super fun kingdom here. I actually couldn't stop myself this morning on the U1 ride to give it a quick go, and I had an actually quite the amazing run. In the end, I'm a little mad at myself that I didn't have this run with you here in this playthrough, but I think I picked up on a few tips I might otherwise not have picked up on. I This is my first try of the daily actually. I didn't I just played a custom kingdom with the same cards. So yeah, if I lose here that might might have the impact on the stats for me. But yeah, this kingdom is insane. I will not spoil how fast I was. In the end of the video, I will show you the game summary of that game. I don't think I will be able to reproduce that here. But yeah, let's dive right into it. And as always, I will start by going through the cards one by one. And if you're not interested in that, feel free to skip to the next timestamp. So let me remove the camera and talk about Daimyo. Daimyo might be one of the top 5 cards in all of Dominion currently. I think it's just so strong. It's +1 card and +1 action. The next time you play a non-command action card this turn, replay it afterwards. So you cannot replay the Daimyo with itself, but any action you're playing after it, you will play twice, and that's essentially a throne room, but it comes with a card draw, and that's yeah, just super duper insane. It costs 6 debt, and that's very justified. It might as well cost 8 debt. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those cards you should always have in mind, even in junky decks. But here you will be able to thin a bit, and Daimyo should be super duper strong. Aristocrat. If the number of aristocrats you have in play is 1 or 5, so the first one gives you 3 actions, the second one 3 cards, the third one plus 3 coins, and then the fourth one plus 3 buys. Note that Daimyo will not put another aristocrat in play. So if you play one aristocrat, then play Daimyo, double playing the next aristocrat you play, you will draw 6 cards instead of 3, of course. And so on, depending on the number of aristocrat cards you have in play. Root Cellar is +3 cards, +1 action, and +3 debt. So it can get you into that a bit if you play it repeatedly, if you don't have that much payload. It is amazing draw by itself, but yeah, the 3 that you shouldn't underestimate. Like last week we had this really fun kingdom where we could just go into that forever. Feel free to check that out. There it was amazing. Here it also is quite alright, especially since in the end game there might be rice to get the money back that you spent for drawing the cards. Bridge is also one of those cards you should look out for, and here it's insanely strong because Bridge says +1 buy, +1 coin. Pretty innocent, right? But this turn, cards everywhere cost 1 coin less. And this affects stacks. So if you play 2 bridges, then all cards will cost 2 less, and so on and so on. So if you only play one bridge, it's essentially if you play one bridge and buy 1 card, it's essentially +1 buy and +2 coins. But if you already buy 2 cards, it gives you a discount of 1, and it has an insane synergy with Daimyo, as you only essentially need 1 bridge and 6 Daimyos to play 1 bridge 7 times. And if you play a bridge 7 times, well, then you have 7 money. All cards cost 7 less, and you will have 7 buys, or even 8 buys, so then you can buy all of the provinces really, really easily. And yeah, Bridge Megaturns are something to look out for, and this is definitely Kingdom for it. Rustic Village says +1 sun marker, +1 card, +2 action, so it's a village. And then in the end, you may discard 2 cards for +1 card. So this gives a bit of sifting, seeing more cards than you usually would have ought to. This +1 sun marker in this game means that after 5 rustic villages have been played in total, growth will activate. Growth is a prophecy saying once this is active, when you gain a treasure, you gain a cheaper card. So one of the weaker prophecies, sometimes they can chain crazily with stuff like stuff that you want, treasures that you want. For example, here we have rice. So if you gain a rice, you can gain a cheaper card than rice, like gold. And yeah, might be of minor impact, but not like I don't even know when this will trigger. But Rustic Village is definitely a good village. Replace. Trash a card from your hand. Gain a card costing up to 2 more than it. A remodel variant. And as you might know, Tanuki says exactly the same. And then for replace, it's if the gained card is an action or treasure, put it onto your deck. If it's a victory card, each other player gains a curse. So this is slight cursing if you gain victory cards with it. But in comparison to Tanuki, it falls off because Tanuki has this below the line effect. You can play this from your deck as if in your hand. And it's a shadow card. That means, yeah, that it has this bottom line effect. And also, it's shuffled at the bottom of onto the bottom of our deck. And that makes it essentially a sixth card in hand. Like if we have 5 cards in hand and the Tanuki at the bottom of our deck and call the Tanuki from there or play the Tanuki from there, we have essentially started our hand with 6 hand cards. And that's really, really strong for a remodel variant because you can usually pair it up with whatever you like to, and it's just amazing, yeah. Trading Post is a trasher that trashes 2 cards from your hand. If you did, gain a silver to your hand. Here, I don't think it's going to be of any importance because Tanuki or even Upgrade will always be better than it. And Replace is the same thing. Tanuki is just so much better here than Replace. I mean, Replace top decks the card, but that's not as good as the flexibility and extra hand size Tanuki gets you. Upgrade. +1 card, +1 action. Trash a card from your hand. Gain a card costing exactly 1 more than it. And yeah, you might notice that here, in principle, you could upgrade Rice into provinces. But also, let me tell you, you could even upgrade a curse into provinces if you play enough bridges. Because if you lower the price of provinces by 7, then they only cost 1. And copper or curse or any other card except for daimyo, whose cost is not lowered, will be just 0, and thus you can upgrade any card into province if you've played enough bridges. Fun stuff. Finally, we have Rice, +1 buy, +1 coin per different type among cards you have in play. And here, actually, there are quite a few types you can potentially get in play. So by type, treasure or action is meant. And here we have Rustic Village as an extra type with the Omen because it triggers a prophecy, potentially. Daimyo has the command type. Tanuki has the shadow type. And in principle, also Replace has the attack type, but I don't think we are going for Replace here. So this means action, shadow, command, omen, treasure. You'll have 5 types in play usually at the end of the game. So Rice will be worth 5 and +1 buy. Very, very good, especially to pay off the debt you might have gotten via the root cellar thing. Then finally, we have an event called Practice, which is a one-time throne room for for 3 coins and 1 buy, essentially. And Practice says you may play an action card from your hand twice. And yeah, this one also synergizes with Bridge, as you can over-terminal yourself a bit and then just play the remaining bridges from your hand more than 1 time. And that's about it. So We might go for it if we have an excess bridge, because it's better than just playing the bridge even, because it lowers card cost by 2 and not just by 1, even though it costs you essentially one coin in relation to just playing the bridge normally. But yeah, that's okay. Anyways, yeah, that was a long discussion, 10 minutes, I'm sorry, but there's a lot going on. Now the question is, how are we going to play this kingdom? I think the game plan is pretty clear if you look at it, or if you realize that Bridge is such an amazing combo, has such an amazing combo with Daimyo. We want to stack a few daimios, stack a few bridges, and then buy out the provinces and maybe even duchies. We might need to work around pile-out threats, as the AI might do exactly the same. And yeah, we might also want to trash down to enable this lineup of bridges in a better way. Also, we will want some villages, maybe rustic villages, maybe aristocrats. The bad thing about aristocrats is that the first one really does nothing for you. It's essentially a curse, and you have to line them up, finding both of them for the second one to draw. But still, they might be worth going for. Maybe we'll also go for root cellar stuff to get a bit of extra draw in. We need to be careful not to go completely into debt, but going a bit into debt, and then, I don't know, playing a few bridges, tanukiing a copper into rice could be even a play. But yeah, and essentially we want to focus on buying daimios. Now, let me show you the kingdom plot here. Actually looks quite innocent, right? There's a tiny bit of draw, there's a tiny bit of attack and replace. No alt VP, but yeah, daimyo bridge, that's the stuff. So yeah, aristocrat is on by itself isn't great draw. Root cellar, while it is draw, it's expensive draw, so I think that's why I've only labeled it as a 1, like yeah, tier 1 draw out of 3. And daimyo is also draw, but by itself it doesn't do that much. But for example, if you play daimyo and then a rustic village afterwards, the rustic village will also draw you 2 cards. So that's the power of daimyo for you. But yeah, this looks rather innocent. Nothing like a game that would end in, well, we'll see how many turns we'll take, but I will get back to my own run in the end. Opening wise, well, if we're following this tactic, this strategy of going for daimyo bridge in the end, it makes sense to open with the 3-4 or 4-3, just bridge silver. Then on the first shuffle, it's very important that you hit either tanuki or upgrade. I think I prefer tanuki. And so you want to hit 5, and bridge silver is a great opening for that. It also means that if you see a $4 hand or 4 coin hand, why dollar? It's just coins. If you see a 4 coin hand on turn 3, you might not want to go into debt with daimyo yet, just because you really want to find the tanuki or buy the tanuki. I think the 5-2 opening is by far the strongest. I mean, there are still sad draws, of course, but if you open Tanuki Daimyo, Daimyo also synergizes with Tanuki in a way that if you play Daimyo early on, you sometimes are a bit sad because you cannot match it up with any of your action cards. But if you open Tanuki Daimyo, essentially, if you play Daimyo either turn 3 or turn 4, and there's a very high chance of doing that, there's only one case where you bottom deck it, you will be able to call the Tanuki and just double play it from your deck. And if you then get the jackpot of trashing out 2 estates, well, then the game is essentially over for AI. Or for us, if AI has this amazing opening. But yeah, on the 2-5, which is the opening we have, we have to skip our first turn and then just go for Tanuki. I think it's still quite the good opening because you get to put in a daimyo and a bridge on the second shuffle, but of course it's not as strong as opening Tanuki daimyo. All right, yeah, let's go for this. End our buys. We don't need to show the AI that we have the 2 coppers. And AI goes for silver and maybe bridge. So let's go for Tanuki as I said. Here we don't have to call the Tanuki just yet, as we want to match it up with estates. And now there's a question already. I think we want to put in another trasher, just as we're going to put in a bridge here and a daimyo here. It might be nice to have another trasher. So now this is not optimal. Now here I would like to not double play the Tanuki actually, just to be able to buy another daimyo, but I think it's stronger to go for this. And now there is a question of what do we want to go for with this. I think all of Root Cellar, Rustic Village, and even, yeah, well, I think Rustic Village might be the best way to go here. We currently do not have enough daimyos in deck to go for all of those. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. We don't have enough daimyos in deck to have abundant action, so putting a Rustic Village in there is alright. Unfortunately, we need to trash this copper into an estate here. We might even argue to just trash it into another copper, as the copper might be worth more, but the estate is a better remodel or upgrade target. So here we will be able to get rid of the last estate and maybe put in a root cellar or an aristocrat. Yeah, we cannot practice the bridge yet. And no, actually, let me undo this and go for a root cellar here. And we can go for another bridge and daimyo. Now here we get to draw. We will hopefully find the rustic village. Amazing, because this means that we get to do we want to go for a bit more draw? Yeah, I think so. We get to daimyo the bridge, and then we will get to we cannot do that, but we can upgrade the estate into an aristocrat, daimyo one more bridge. Does that make sense? We will have 4. Nope, but we can at least get rid of 2 of those coppers and get another aristocrat in. Now here we just pay off debt, and we shouldn't be all too concerned about going into so much debt, as we will soon be able to hopefully do some other good stuff. Let's not discard here. Now here, let's just thin a copper. Okay, amazing. We do get to triple play bridge. Get to put in... Don't yet get to put in a gold or a rice, unless we first draw here. What is the other card? I think it's a rustic village, right? So we have bridge, rustic village down there. If we draw with the aristocrat first, we will be able to remodel copper into gold and draw this gold. And if we Tanuki here and just go for another bridge, we will have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, only 7. So I think we actually need to draw up here. Play, no, man, I messed this up. I didn't think about actions. That's really bad. I mean, we can still do the same thing, essentially. Go for bridge here and decline this, but we do not get out of debt yet. Yeah, this is not great. Also this draw is not great. But this means that we draw next turn, and next turn we should be able to maybe even win. So let's go for some more daimyo. And yeah, this aristocrat will not draw, which sucks. But at least we will be able to double play. Now, there's no bridge down here. There is this root cellar in here. Yeah, let's go for upgrading the aristocrat into a bridge. Is that correct? Yeah, and then just draw. There are two aristocrats down there. Let's double play the root cellar. Just draw a bunch of cards. Now we can double play this bridge and play one more rustic village. We have activated growth, which is amazing. We can now play one more rustic village, decline this, growth the copper into rice rustic village or bridge. So rice will be worth 5, and we have 5 right now. The other card down there is an aristocrat, unfortunately, so this other root cellar here is really bad. Will we get out of debt is the question. We'll have 14 debt. I think we need to gain a gold here, right? We can do that easily. And so this is 3 plus 5 is 8, so we'll have 5 plus 8 is 13. 14, which have just enough. We won't be able to... Yeah, I think this then wants to be a bridge, so we can get enough bridges in play. So here we... no, we on... Well... yeah, we have enough actions with the aristocrat to place down both bridges, but we won't be able to... this is so close. This is agonizingly close. Or actually, I think the solution might be aristocrat, because if we play this aristocrat, we can double play the bridge. No. Is there a win here? Is the question. I mean, there has to be, right? This debt this debt that we are in is just super annoying. Yeah, I am not sure. You could also go for maybe the idea is to get another tanuki to remodel one more rice. Yeah, I like that. But in that case, do we want to go for the gold? Because if we... I think we don't want to go for the gold because we want to guarantee drawing those 3 cards. And no, I'm sorry, I'm scrambling here, but this is really intricate. I think with the Tanuki it should work out. I'm tired of thinking about this more. So let's Tanuki one more copper into rice, gold, bridge. Then we will have, this will be 10, 15. With the gold, we'll have enough to practice one bridge and play the other bridge. And then we will have exactly enough to buy out the provinces. Wow, what a struggle. I, I hope I didn't bore you with my thinking there, but I think that was actually quite the fun find the win situation. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll put a timestamp in the video. This was fun. I liked how this last turn went because the draws weren't perfect. We did have to adjust for a few things like the one aristocrat or having the bridges in so late. And then this root cellar debt that we went into. But yeah, we did manage to find this win. I'm quite proud of this one. But yeah, yeah, where was the find the win situation actually? I think it started here, right? When we played this Tanuki, or essentially it started, yeah, yeah, exactly. I think I might post this in the Discord later. All right, this wraps up this very fun kingdom in a very fun fashion. But now, I mean, this was fast, right? This was 10 turns, 54 points, pretty amazing. And the way we did it was by just trashing down rigorously. We didn't even have that many daimyos in the end, but that's because we went for the root cellar route and thus were in debt for maybe a bit too long. But on the other hand, the root cellar made us see our key cards more often. We could play our Tanuki very often. We could reshuffle very often, and with Rustic Village and Bridges, and we also made those remodels of even coppers very impactful. And yeah, I don't know. This was fun. So now that you've seen this very fast game, right? 10 turns. Now look at the game summary of my initial game. I'm going to put it right here. Boom. And as you can see, this one was even crazier. In this one, I had the dream opening of 5-2. I opened Tanuki Daimyo. I don't even know how. Like this time, in 10 turns we only got 3 daimyos, but in this one, in 8 turns, I got 6 daimyos, and yeah, everything worked out perfectly in that one. 8 turns is crazy, even for this kingdom. But yeah, there I got to see the Tanuki, or see the daimyo, I think turn 4 or so, and trash 2 estates into Bridge Rustic Village early. And from then on, I bought another daimyo. It just worked out really, really nicely. Much even better than in this one. But I also cannot complain about draws in this playthrough that we had. All right, I see myself rambling and rambling, so I hope you enjoyed this one. I will try to catch you in the next one, and until then, goodbye. I forgot to move my mouse to the correct button, so later, goodbye.